Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm here with the Miserable Liberal and Ron Placone.
Hello.
Hello.
So, Adam Johnson, he's been on the show. He writes for Fair. What does FAIR stand for? For accuracy
Fair
and
and
reporting?
accuracy in reporting.
In reporting, yeah. So it's a great organization, fair.org. And what I like is that he's a great media watchdog. And he makes a great point here. Like, he tweeted this out. He said, in the past 6 months, the United States has increased the military budget $80 billion from $606 billion in 2017 to $686 billion in 2018. And that's an increase of 13%, the largest since 9/11. And that increase, that $80 billion increase, that is 70% greater than the entire Russian military budget, which I had reported as $65 billion, but it's actually gone down. It's now $47 billion. Pledges $1.2 trillion to revamp nuclear arsenal and $200 billion more than Obama asked for in 2016. So there's a asterisk there, and I'm going to guess that's what it pledges $1.2 trillion to revamp. So that's a lot of money. But what he's showing you is that even with us overspending, that $80 billion extra is 70% greater than the entire Russian military budget. People don't know that. They think we got to build up against the Russians. Oh my God, we got to build up. We got to make. I was on a podcast and I said, we have 1,000 military bases around the world. 1,000 military bases. And they're like, yeah, but what do you say about we have to stay safe? I don't know. I don't know. How does Russia do it without 1,000 military bases around the world? How does fucking China do it without 1,000? How does the rest of the world stay safe? So that's just bullshit, right? So we've had the capture or the takeover of our government by the military-industrial complex, and that's not news to anybody. I hope that's not news to you. That we don't have an enemy in the world right now, really. Russia spends $47 billion on their entire military, which is why I've been saying that we don't have an enemy. We're spending this much, they're spending that much.
Well, and the other thing,
it would take them how many years? So how many years would it take them? 1, 2, so 7, 14 years for them to spend as much as we spend in 1 year on our military.
Yeah, well, and the thing nobody likes to talk about is that $10 billion of that $47 billion goes to 13 Twitter trolls.
Ha! That's right. So he started to show. So what Adam Johnson does is he put together, he's really good at this, to show you how crazy it is, how our media reports our military budget and things like that. For instance, they always say Russian threat on 2 fronts meets strategic void in the United States. Russia has ramped up its arsenals. The U.S. has done little in response. What? What? This is the kind of crap. The U.S. military budget is 1,360% greater than Russia's, yet we are somehow always behind them and scrambling to catch up. Look, U.S. Coast Guard falls behind Russia in new Arctic arms race. That's from December 18th of last year. U.S. is playing catch-up with Russia in scramble for the Arctic. That's from 2015. Evergreen Story weapons contractor funded think tanks like to cook up is the report, quote, report, U.S. lagging behind enemy X story. So weapons contractors fund think tanks. They put out bullshit stories like, hey, U.S. is lagging behind. New report, new study. U.S. is lagging behind enemy in what? Our missile things and what that. Somehow the largest military in the history of the world is always bumbling around looking for the light switch while insert enemy X here is dunking on us. So that's how the newspapers always reported, even though it's the exact opposite. So you understand, the whole point is to show you how propaganda works and how you don't need state media, state-run media, because the private-run media is just as much of a lapdog to power, if not more so. So here, look, U.S. military tactics falling behind those of adversaries, Pentagon official warns. And who better to tell you?
Right. The people that profit off of this have a warning for everybody.
Wall Street says, "Oh, we might crash. We need more money." I'm telling you, I'm an insider, and I know we better have it. Pentagon says they need more money too. Better give it to them, or else we're all going to get killed. U.S. risks losing artificial intelligence arms race to China and Russia. I mean, this is how stuff is reported, and Adam Johnson caught all this. The U.S. spent the entire Cold War lagging or falling behind the Soviets, often in the context of a now disproven missile gap. So I remember Reagan's build-up to fight the Russians, and they claim that's what really killed communism, So he shows you some from back in the 60s. Here it says, gap argued by senators. Jackson says Soviet lead is clear without dispute. That's from 1961. Space missile gap measurable. That's the Tampa Times. That's from 1961. Here's another one. U.S. falling behind Soviets with weapons. That's from William F. Buckley Jr. U.S. is lagging behind Russia in missile race, McCarthy says. That's where it is. There it is, right there. There it is. So, thank God for Adam Johnson for doing this. He does it in such a concise way. So this is called manufacturing consent. And it's the military-industrial complex, funds think tanks. They write bullshit studies or come out with great new thing, and then the newspaper prints them.
Well, and whenever there's a vote on a budget, we hear nothing about it.
Right?
They say nothing about it. So when it comes to the military-industrial complex, you're faced with one of two options as followed by the corporate media. One, say nothing. Silence is golden. Two, make a bunch of ridiculous false dichotomies comparing, as Adam put it, enemy X.
They decided to spend $80 billion more, which, let's remember, that's 70% more than the Russians spend all year. The extra money we're spending. And there was no debate about it. There was nobody's hair was on fire. They didn't write editorials. We didn't have Anderson Cooper didn't host town halls, and Bernie talked about it with Trump, and nothing. We didn't have generals on. We didn't have peace activists. Nothing. It just like that. Remember they said you couldn't have free college? You couldn't have free college because that's crazy. Bernie's crazy. He doesn't know how things work. What they mean is you don't understand how corrupted stuff is in the United States. Things are really corrupted, Bernie. And being a sign of a grown-up is you accept corruption. Because the Democrats are 100% corrupt. He keeps going on. Other bad guys, the largest military in the history of the world, is lagging behind / playing catch up with losing to 50,000 people in the desert with baklava masks and weak internet connections, 2 fast food companies, 3 unnamed adversaries, and 4 the country with GDP of Dayton, Ohio.
Now, Dayton is a successful college town, so that might be an okay GDP. We don't know.
So look, he starts to give you the headlines. U.S. playing catch up on ISIS social media campaign. U.S. government cybersecurity lags behind that of fast food joints, says analysts. We're lagging behind. We're catching up. We're behind fast food companies. Behind us, ISIS. Behind fast food companies, and NSA chief says U.S. cyber infrastructure lags behind adversaries. Expects major attack. Unnamed adversaries.
Who's going to attack us? Adversaries, man.
Adversaries.
Yeah, their adversaries are out there. You might be an adversary.
So, great work by Adam Johnson, and this is how it works. And it's crazy, and the Democrats should be screaming at the top of their lungs about the military budget, but they're not because they're complicit. By right now, the Democrats are 17 Democrats just joined Trump in deregulating Wall Street. Unbelievable. So that's how maybe we get a revolution. The Democrats complicit. They get in bed with Trump and Wall Street, deregulated. It crashes again. Maybe that's when the revolution comes. The Democrats are not your friend. They're working against you. The establishment media is the mouthpiece of the military-industrial complex. It always has been, which is how we got into Iraq, which is how we got into Afghanistan 17 years and running, which is how we ran out of bombs in Syria. Ran out of bombs. United States, we dropped so many bombs, we ran out of them.
Good thing for those bonuses.
Yeah.
Can make more.
Good thing. So, again, I just wanted to show you this. I saw this on Twitter this morning. I follow Adam. He does amazing work. And this is just another example of how effed up things are in the establishment media. It's another reason why I have this job. It's another reason why people watch this show. I don't really. It's just depressing. I don't know what else to say. It's just depressing. Anything, Steph? Nothing?
It's depressing, Jimmy.
Okay. So let's do this. Let's get undepressed. We had added a second show in Austin, March 26th. That's a Monday. See you there. March 30th. That's a Friday. We'll see you in Burbank, California. How about you become a patron? We give you hours of extra bonus material every week. That's a great way to help support the show. Make sure you're subscribed. Super important. Super important. Make sure you subscribe and click that bell so you get a notice when we drop videos. And we're on Steam It. There's a link down there.